Okay, good evening all. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. So, if you are able to hear me properly, you can just type yes message in the chat window. So, I hope I'm audible very much. Okay, I can see a lot of people. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Great. Kahoot today I have, but I didn't design anything. So maybe I can check if there is some unplayed Kahoot. But no, we don't have actually. I have to finish Ansible today. I mean, a lot of things. But anyway, so we are not going to have Kahoot, directly Ansible. Okay. So around 19 or 20 people are there. Okay. So today we are going to talk about an automation engine tool called Ansible, right? And Ansible is generally a deployment tool. So by using Ansible we can do deployment. Okay, deployment means we can deploy or host your application on some server. Okay, so I hope you all have gone through with the session that we had in the last day, and you don't have any problem at all yet, right, to connecting everything. Okay, although this is a very simple tool to deployment of code in multiple servers. Okay, so that is something Ansible can do. Okay, now most important thing is, first of all, I can tell you one thing. When we started with the DevOps, so I told you one thing. DevOps is an integration of developer and operation engineer. Okay, now the operation engineer can perform couple of things. So let's say the entire DevOps has a lot of branches. When I say a lot of branches, that means yes, we can do CI/CD, or I can say pipelining thing. We can do automation, and we can do monitoring, and so many things. Okay, so there are a couple of more things also in the pipeline, but as of now, CI/CD, automation, and monitoring, that we are going to understand. Okay, now under CI/CD we have learned about Git and Jenkins, right? Still there are some things to be added in the Jenkins part. In the monitoring we have not done yet anything, but in automation and deployment. So deployment we can do on servers, we can do on Docker, we can do on Kubernetes, right? But let's say you have so many servers, so many Docker, so many Kubernetes engines. So how you are going to deploy automatically? So when I say automation, that means there is a job that needs to be performed on multiple servers. So for example, let's say if you have your college lab. Okay, this is your lab, and here we around have let's say more than 50 PCs. Okay, so around 50 PCs we have, and as a student or as an engineer I want to install VLC media player. Okay, I want to install VLC media player in my all systems. or I want to configure Java, or I want to install HTTPD and host a website. This is but in each and every machine. You know that as of now, whatever we are using or how we are doing all this, it's a very manual process. So we are going into each and every system, log in there, and then download that software, then install it and setting the path. Number of things we are doing, right? So when you have huge number of resources and we want to repeat the same task again and again, and you know that the thing or the task that you are going to do, that is let's say taking 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, that is taken by a single PC. So if you are going to multiply it by 30, my god, so much time. Okay, so that means whenever you want to perform or set up or migrate or do something in number of resources, so you don't have to do it manually. That's why this automation engineering came in picture. Okay, so automation means we are going to perform number of things in number of servers. Okay, so for that purpose we have automation tool, and in automation tool we have big names like Puppet, we have Chef, and we have Ansible, we have Terraform, and many more. These are the list of tools that we can use to perform the automation of the task, and the task can be anything that we are doing in daily life. Okay, so in this entire DevOps industry or scenario, the one that I'm going to talk about today is automation engineering. So in a very simple terms, in DevOps we are taking it automation, and then automation has a lot of options, right? We have Puppet. So Puppet was designed in 2003 or 5 around, and this tool is written in Ruby language. So you need to understand couple of Ruby language concept to work in Puppet. Then another tool came in picture, Chef, and that is also written in the Ruby language. Okay, then market has Zuzu, market has SaltStack, market has Terraform, right? And market also has Ansible, and so many tools are there that is used for automation. Okay, here out of this bucket list, Ansible is the most latest and most advanced tool that was designed in 2012, and it is written in Python programming language. Okay, Terraform is written in Golang, but it's mainly for cloud automation. Okay, provisioning and designing. Zuzu, SaltStack, these are also tools. Anyway, so we have a huge list in the automation. So first of all, I need an answer from all of you that yes, you are understanding what exactly is the need of automation to save time and money, right? The need of automation, we can save time. When we can save time, that means we are saving money, and we are really doing it very fast, because if human will try to install or set up each and everything in individual PCs or servers, it's gonna take time for sure. Okay, so that's why we are using this automation, and in this automation we are going to talk about Ansible today. Okay, so I hope it's all good as of now, there is no problem. Okay, wonderful. So why we are choosing Ansible on top of these many tools? So we have so many reasons. So first of all, why Ansible, right? The first is Ansible is very simple. That means you don't have to learn any new thing, kind of it's very easy to understand, it's very amazing, and it's written in Python. So even if you want to do something by your own, you can also use Python for your own purpose. Okay, Now it's an agent list tool. I'll be talking about the agent list in a while, but agent list tool, and by using Ansible you can automate almost everything. Right? You can almost everything. When I say you can automate everything, what does that mean? So let's say by using Ansible you can automate all your Linux servers. Okay, you can automate your Windows servers, you can automate your cloud. Okay, so that means cloud automation. You can automate your networking like Cisco devices and other devices as well. You can automate your VMware, VirtualBox, and so many things are there in the pipeline that you can automate by using Ansible, right? That means the list is not that much small, it's a very huge list. So Ansible can automate a lot of things because this is the open source tool and that has a big support. Okay, so I don't know why my battery is dead, but anyway, so we have a huge list, or I can say a big list. So that means all these things are here. Now even if you want to automate your Docker engine, yes, you can automate your Kubernetes. Okay, so automating your Docker engine and Kubernetes will not be a problem at all because it has a lot of option to do so. Okay, so I think I need to recheck my charger, why it is not working, but hopefully you are understanding the same, that Ansible is a very powerful tool engine that we can use to automate a lot of things, right? Let me just check, my charger is not connecting. So sometimes it is connecting, sometimes it's not. Anyway, so I hope it's all clear. Okay, now what case we are going to take is very easy. So first of all, if you talk about Ansible installation, Ansible install, so it can be installed only on top of Linux platform, Linux based OS. Okay, but it can automate these many things. So how we are going to install Ansible in my machine? So the way we are going to use, this will be my machine and I'll be having 2 or 3 servers in my front, and I want to automate them simply. Okay, so what I'll do, see, in my cloud I have this remote host machine running. Okay, so I have all these remote host machines. Fine, and so this is my Ansible machine, so I'm just renaming it Devops Jenkins _ Ansible. Okay, this is, and these are my all target machines. So I want to automate, I want to do something here. So let's say I will be selecting these 3 VMs. Let me start them. So I'm just starting. So here you need to learn some terminology actually. So the terminology is very easy. This will be my Ansible control node, and where I want to automate, these all are my target nodes. Okay, so these are my target node. You have to install Ansible only here from where you want to automate. You don't have to install anything of Ansible in these machines. So when I have written a point that was agentless, so in generally maximum tools have their agent, and those agents need to be installed on the target nodes, right? Those agents need to be installed on the target node, but in the case of Ansible we don't have to install anything this side for Ansible to support. Okay, so that's why we are saying Ansible is a agentless tool. Okay, it's an agentless tool. You don't have to additionally do anything. So anyway, let me just log in this machine, and if I'm logging here, fine. It's logged in now. Let me just try with Ansible. It's not present, by the way, and even if I try to install it, like sudo yum install Ansible, so by default Amazon is not having that package. So if I want to install Ansible, then in my Red Hat system I need to create a repository. So what I'll do, I'll take a EPEL repo for CentOS 7, and this is a Fedora project website, so I can take that EPEL repo. And what does that EPEL repo is doing? Basically it will create a yum repository. I don't know how many of you are aware about the yum repository or not, so I'm doing this first. So this will create a software link. So actually I need to just do with the sudo first. Okay, it is not Ansible, by the way. It is creating some license and file so that we can install Ansible. So what I'll do now, I try to just do yum install Ansible. See, so it's installing Ansible, Python, Paramiko, Sparse, and so many things. Okay, so now Ansible is getting installed here, and I can say by Ansible -version, or maybe -version, to check it's 2.9 or 2.8. Yes, we have 2.9.7 version of Ansible, and it's really very easy to install Ansible. Okay, in case of Ubuntu, I don't know, in my system either I have, I don't have, but you can directly install by sudo apt install Ansible. It will be coming, otherwise you can Google it. Okay, so here is my system. Now from this machine, this is my controller node, I want to automate, or I want to perform something here in these machines. So how my Ansible is going to connect to all these 3 or maybe 100 servers? So here you have to think about that. Ansible can connect to target machine. That depends on what kind of target you have. Is your all target machines are Linux, or they are Windows based, or they are Cisco based? Okay, so let me tell you, if this is your Ansible machine, right, this is your Ansible machine, that is right here. So Ansible has something we call it connector, and that connector is going to be used on behalf of your target machine. What target system you have? Let's say you have Linux server, you have Windows server, or you have Cisco devices. So that means you have so many Windows and so many Cisco devices, and you want to automate. So how Ansible will connect? Ansible has something we call it connector. So Ansible can connect to all. Let's say we have 100 server here, 50 server here, and 5,000 devices here. Ansible can connect to all 100 servers by using SSH, right? So SSH is a connector, so that from this machine to this Linux servers it can connect. If you are connecting to Windows based machine, the connector is WinRM, and if you are connecting to Cisco devices, we have like netconf or network CLI. So now the connector is going to decide that what kind of devices or server or target you want to automate, or you're going to automate. And definitely this machine will be Linux for sure, because Ansible can be installed on Linux only. Alright, so I hope you all are getting the importance or the meaning of connectors. Okay, so we have these many connectors, and we have so many connectors. So if I want to check, so I think the command is Ansible -doc-t connection L. Fine, see. So what I did, I just run that command, Ansible doc-type is connection -L. So you can check kubectl, napalm, just forget about this, WinRM. To run task over Windows, Microsoft, netconf for network DLI, devices, SSH, OC, and so many things are there. Okay, even Docker we also have as a connector. So we can use this command to get the list of connector that is supported by Ansible as of now. Okay, and this Ansible is very much installed in my system here in one machine from where I want to automate it. Okay, so I hope if you are understanding that connector, so say yes or understood in your chat window, so that we can talk about next step in Ansible. But if you don't understand, just say yes in the chat window, right? The connector and Ansible both. So I need yes message, or maybe whatever question you have for both, for Ansible also, for connector also. Okay, so okay, I'm getting a couple of yes messages, and that is really nice. Okay, now because our main target is to automate a Linux based machine as of now, so I'm going to focus mainly on this section. Okay, mainly on this section. Fine. So now when I'm saying SSH is a connector, so what you need to understand here is your Ansible machine must be able to access to this Linux machine by using SSH. Okay, so as of now we have three things. So let's say I'm just having, this is my node 1, this is my node 2, and this is my node 3. Right, node 1, node 2, node 3. Now my Ansible machine must be able to connect to these nodes. Alright, now one more thing you really have to understand before applying it. So let's say if we have this Ansible machine or Ansible node, and you have 3 target Linux based VMs or OS, 3 target Linux. So Ansible is going to use SSH, and then it is going to connect. So one thing you have to do for the first time, you don't have to do it every day, for the first time, you have to create a very common username and password. Common username and password in all the system, because see how Ansible will be connecting via SS to all these VMs. If every VM will have its own individual username and password, so there will be a difficulty, although that difficulty is not that much big, but yes, the difficulty is there. So what we have to understand, rather than using different username and password in the target system, the thing we can do is we can create a common username and password here, and we can supply that common username password to Ansible, so that Ansible can automatically use a single username and password to connect all the machines. Okay, so I hope it will not be a problem for anyone to understand it. Again, I'm repeating, if you are not supplying here common username password, it will be really difficult. So you have to mention all the username password here. So the thing is, like, we are creating it commonly. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just create a username. So let me just log in here in my first system. Fine. And here I'm going to create a one username and the same password. So the username and password I'm going to create here is username is ad hoc and password is 123 Red Hat. Okay, so let me do that. I'm using user add command to add an account, and then I'm using password 123 Red Hat. Okay, and this password I'm supplying to ad hoc user, so that got created. And definitely I need to allow that user so that this machine can connect to ad hoc user and with this password to this VM. So by default, if I try to connect from my this machine, that let's say SSH ad hoc @ this, if I do yes, by default it's permission denied. So user got created, but this Ansible machine is not able to connect. Let's not get confused by this name. So what I'm doing, this is my Ansible system. Okay, Ansible system. And from this system, if I'm trying to connect to my this machine, I'm not able to connect by this. See, permission denied. So what I need to do, I have to allow that user in my SSH. So on the target machine where we have created this username and password. Okay, so what I'll do, I have to allow that username and password in the SSH configuration file. So I'll go down, and here I have a word called password authentication no. So what I need to do, I need to just say yes here, and then save, and then systemctl restart sshd. Okay, and I can just check for status command, it's running. So when I restart after making the changes, let me connect it again, and 123 Red Hat. See, now I'm able to connect very easily. Okay, but this ad hoc user is not allowed to access root permission. See, so that means it's a problem now. So in the all target machine, what I have to do, I have to just go to that sudoers.d file, and there is a file got created. If it is not created, you can create it by any name, right? And here you have to write this thing for ad hoc user. So don't worry if you don't have any pre-existing line, it's not a point to remember, but ad hoc all of this. So why this permission is giving? So that user can use a sudo command without any problem. See, like this. So that's why these two things we need to configure on the server target node side. So on the node side, what we have to do, right? We have to create username password in every node. We have to allow in SSH, and we have to give sudo permission to this user. And the way we did is we have gone there, then there is a file. If the file is not present in your case, you can create it by any name, and then you have to make that entry here. Now the every same step I have to do in rest of two nodes. So what I'm doing, yes, this file is same in every operating system, okay, in every Linux based OS. So I can show you. See, if I open my Ubuntu machine, I'm going there in etc sudoers.d. There is no file you can create. Let's say hello, and you can write ad hoc all, then all, whatever it was, and then all colon no pass wd. Okay, so you can just create it by any name, right? It's not a problem under this, but you all have to do not in your own system, you have to do in your target machine. So let me just check it out from here. I'm just logging in this machine on my second target VM, and then I'm gonna log in it like this. This is my third machine, or second machine, not third machine. And in this second system, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a user add ad hoc, and then I'm going to type the same password 123 red hat to that user. Okay, now password authentication, yes, then restarting that SSHD service, and then making changes in sudoers ers.d file, copying it and pasting it. Okay, saved. Now finally third server. You can just test it locally even, you don't need to do that. So this is purely an additional lecture from my end. If you're not understanding Ansible, it's all fine. This is for some use case, because I am showing you something in the near future. So that's why I'm just introducing it, although it's not in our agenda of internship, but I just wanted to show you. So I'm doing the same thing here as well. Fine. Yes. this, then systemctl restart sshd, and after that I have to do this etc sudo .d, and here I'm going to copy and paste the same line, and then I'm putting here username like ad hoc. So now it's all set. Okay, I don't have to do anything here, so that your node setup is ready only in just 3 steps, and rest we have in Ansible node. Okay, so let me tell you, if we have this machine and we have these all the servers, and I want to do something here commonly, then I don't have to do it manually one by one. Okay, so what I need to do is first of all, in the Ansible machine, how do I write the IP address of all machines or all systems? So let me just tell you, Ansible has a place, or Ansible has a file. In that file you need to write the IP address of the all target machine, right? And that file in Ansible we call it inventory. So in the inventory, the file name is something else, but we are calling it inventory. In inventory we have to write the IP address of all target machines for the first time. So where we want to connect, yes, we can use. Okay, so inventory is something where I need to write that. So let's say in my Ansible machine, and that thing we have to do it by root user, not from normal user. So let me just switch it to root, and I'm going here under etc Ansible, and this is my Ansible configuration file. This is my inventory file. So my inventory file may have a lot of data. Yes, it has. So what I need to do, I'm just renaming it or making a backup of it. So host.back, this is my backup, and now I can write anything here. So I'm just gonna tell you what is the path of your inventory file in Ansible. So the path of inventory file is etc Ansible and hosts. This has some data, but don't worry about that. So I'm just opening that file and I'm removing it everything. So if I want to empty that file, to empty any file I can just use this, see, arrow key and this. Now the file is empty. See, so what I need to do, I need to write the IP address of all my target machines I want to automate. So I'm writing this public IP here, then public IP of the node 2 right here, and the public IP of node 3 right here. Okay, let me connect it with all the nodes, SSH, ad hoc, just to test. Okay, by 1 2 3 Red Hat. Yes, I'm doing. And now the second IP also I'm testing it from ad hoc user, although we have tested from a non-root user, but from here I'm testing to another IP. Yes, and 1 2 3 REDHAT. It's also connecting. Now the final is last IP. Okay, and this last IP I'm connecting from here. Yes, 1 2 3 and Red Hat. Wonderful. So we are able to connect from here. Now because Ansible is going to use that file hosts to perform all the operations in these IP address, But how Ansible gonna call them? Because Ansible cannot use one by one IP address. So what we need to do here, in the inventory I can create a group, and the way I can create a group is this. Let's say me, or let's say web. So I can give any name of group. So rather than connecting to all three IPs, it's really easier to make a group of it, and I've given this group name web. So now Ansible can connect to this web group, and the web group has a member like these IP address. Okay, and if you have more servers, so you can also connect another group. So let's say I'm just putting this last IP in the group, like let's say my security. Okay, so web and sec. Now I have two groups. In my one group I have two IP, in my another group I have one IP. Okay, so how Ansible is going to connect? Ansible is going to use the name of group. So it's very important in Ansible to connect this server. So let's say these are your nodes or target machine here. Now first of all, when you try to automate something in on the target machines, so the very first thing is Ansible will check its configuration file, then it will check inventory, then by checking this inventory it will check username and password, and from SH it will connect to all these machines in a parallel way. So don't think like that it will connect one after another, it will connect parallelly. So what is the inventory file? That inventory file is this only, /etc Ansible and hosts, and that has two groups. Okay, so if till now you are able to understand inventory and why we have created a common username and password here, just say yes in the chat window so that we can understand it. Okay, so waiting for your response. So for rhythm, as of now, yes, it is very much understood. What about other people? Okay, so you all are getting that thing. Fine. Okay. All right. Now how I'm gonna connect these nodes? So let's see. So how we connect, by the way. So I can be there anywhere. So I can use write Ansible and the name of group. Okay, Ansible and the name of group. Then -u target username, because this username is very common, so I'm going to use this target username, and I'm going to use a module. So how Ansible is connecting to this target machine that is connected is SSH. But let's say you want to perform some task. To perform some task on the target machine, Ansible uses modules, right? Module means Python based library. So Python based library, right? That, let's say, so Ansible has its own modules, and those modules will be used to perform something here. let's say you want to install something here, you want to just ping, you want to create a user, you want to connect with Docker. So for everything we have modules in Ansible. So now Ansible is going to decide, we are connecting to this machine that is finalized by SH, then Ansible is using modules to perform task on the target VMs. Okay, so to perform task on the target machines, we are going to use modules in Ansible. To load modules, we are going to use -m option. Okay, now and I'm going to use ping. So it is going to ping. So what I'm saying is, Ansible, please use ad hoc username and use ping module to ping whom? To ping web group, and that group has 2 IPs. And if you supply -k, K stand for, it is going to ask password. So password is 123 red hat. If the password is correct, see what I get is, I'm just connecting to this also, to this also, right? So this machine, and if I want to connect to security group as well, 123 red hat. So it will be connecting to all. See, 1, 2 and 3. So they are generally using a common connection to, and see, I don't have to type 3 times username password because I have the common one. So Ansible is using its cache system to reuse that username password. And in case, let's say you have so many groups in your inventory file, web, sec, and so many, right? So what you can do, you can, rather than writing each and individual group names, you can just write all. It is going to connect all the groups. Fine. And here K stand for ask part. If you're not going to use K, Ansible will not ask for password. Okay, it will not ask for password. It is using from the cache automatically. After some time, it may give you some timeout value, but once we have supplied, it is going to use that. Let's say 123 and red hat. Okay, anyway, so this gonna take something like this. Okay, so I hope it's all are very easy and understood as well. Okay, fine. So if this is very much understood and all set for you, just type OK message in the chat window that yes, you are understanding it, how Ansible is connecting to target VMs and what are the modules. So we have so many modules depending on the assignment or task we want to perform on all the target nodes, and the modules are very much similar to Python. Okay, Python modules, because Ansible is already designed in Python programming language. Okay, although you don't have to worry about anything, because in the /Devops I have written a very good blog about Ansible and couple of technologies. So if you search Ansible here, you'll get couple of insights. I have Ansible architecture, Ansible thing, and so many things, right? So if you see here, I've given the introduction of CF engine, Puppet, Shell, Chisel, Salt, and Ansible, and then how you're going to install it, Okay, after installing, even you can also install Ansible from pip is install Ansible, and then it will be this file. Then you can do a lot of things like this. Okay, so if you want to check how many modules are there in Ansible, you can use Ansible -doc-l command to get the list of modules. See, we have so many modules. So let's say if I want to check all the modules that is related to Docker, because Ansible can also perform couple of things in Docker. So we have these many modules we can use for Docker, right? Yeah, Tej, you can ask. Because Ansible is not service based, it's a plug and play software. That means you don't have to install any of the service of Ansible. So it's not a service based tool, just install and use. Okay, so this is all. Let's say if you want to automate AWS cloud, so we have so many modules. You have a list, huge list. If you want to automate just Cisco devices, so we have so many modules around. If I count number of modules as of now in my Ansible machine, so we have 3,387 modules. Assume that why Ansible is so powerful, because 3,387 modules are very huge. You know, whatever area, whatever domain, whatever things. Let's say I'm searching for VMware, so VMware product automation is also there. So it's a very awesome tool, right? And look at the speed. Now it is connecting parallel to all the server and just deploying it. Okay, but don't you think so that writing all this in a command line is again is a problem? Yes, we can design our own custom module by Python. Okay, that's not a problem. So now, so in general, if you want to compare it with Docker, so let me ask you something. In Docker, generally to deploy your application in a container, what do you prefer? Docker command line or compose? So try to understand the scenario, try to understand the situation and the real industry case. In Docker, to create a container or set of container or use of container, which approach is better according to you? Docker command line or compose? Definitely compose, right? And you do understand, because compose is the way where we can write things in file and we can share that file to somebody else and they can simply run it, right? So the very much good approach is compose, definitely. So I hope everybody understanding the same, that compose is the right way. Okay, although we still have command line, we can use that, but in general people are using Docker compose to perform all these things. So I hope it's not a problem at all. Yes, Manan, it has a timeout actually. Okay, so likewise in the Ansible itself, either you can use Ansible command line, Ansible CLI, like the way we are using, or we can use Ansible playbooks, right? And that is quite very similar to the Docker case. So So to create container, we have this and this. So to automate your servers, you have command line and you have playbooks. So the most common thing about compose and playbooks, they both are supporting YML. Okay, both are supporting YML. That means in the both way we can just create yet another markup language. Okay, and there are a couple of more reasons why we should use Ansible playbook on top of command line, right? First of all, we can write in a file the way we write in Docker Compose, and second thing, in the command line we cannot call more than one module at a one time. So let's say I want to call ping module, I want to do service start, I want to create database module, I want to call container module. So multiple modules we cannot call in the Ansible command line. Like we cannot create multiple containers from Docker command line in one shot. Okay, so Docker run command will only create one container, but Docker compose up can create so many containers depending on the file. Okay, so Ansible playbook can use so many modules, and it's easy to write and share. Okay, so I think it will be really helpful and okay if you're understanding the same scenario. All right, now how a playbook will look like, or I can say, so if you really talk about playbooks, okay, so playbooks is, generally have some section. The first one is target section. Target section means where you want to perform your operations. So let's say you can write web, or you can write sec, or you can write all. Okay, in our case the second section is variable, and third is tasks. Alright, so initially I'm not saying that's it, but initially you have to understand only these parts: target, variable, tasks. Under task you can define modules, so module 1, module 2, module 3 and so on, and then Ansible can run that playbook easily. So I hope the concept and the idea of playbook will be very much easy to understand. No. Harsh, Puppet and Chef, they use Ruby language, right, to write it. They're not using YML, right? And by the way, the playbook we are only calling in Ansible. Okay, so first of all, you can just say yes in the chat window if you understand playbook will have 3 things at least. Meanwhile, second is also optional, but first and last are very much easy. Yeah, we are going to use that playbooks, but as of now I'm just showing you that the way how we are going to write by keeping that in mind. So just for your information and knowledge, if you are using Puppet or Chef or Ansible, fine. So Puppet has manifest, Chef has cookbook, Ansible has playbook. We can write playbook in yet another markup language. Cookbook we have to write in DSL Ruby, domain specific language of Ruby, and manifest we also have to write in DSL Ruby. Okay, although the motive is not just to give you some idea about these, but just for, because Harsh, you just ask for Chef and Puppet. So if you are using Puppet, Then here you create manifest. In Chef you create cookbook. In Ansible you create playbooks, YML, Ruby and Ruby. Okay, and these are the leaders in the industry. In generally people are using it a lot of things. Okay, so in a very easy way, whatever DevOps automation tool you are gonna use, you have really amazing options. But as of now, as per the industry as well, Ansible is the most popular tool for I cannot say tool, it's a very big server, so generally we call it IAC, infrastructure as a code. Okay, so these all tools are being using to provision and deployment. We can create VMs, you can create virtual box machine and so many things by them. Okay, so I hope it's all clear for now. When we're taking variables, why variables we are using in Ansible, but just say yes in the chat window in a very quick way. Okay, that yes, you are understanding it in a nutshell. Fine. So in a nutshell, Ansible, Puppet, Chef, whatever you are going to use, it's simply an automation engine tool, and in the automation engine tool we are going to use it for automating our infrastructure and cloud and maybe whatever we want. It doesn't matter, but we can automate that. Alright, fine. So it's cool as of now, because since more than 3 years I really love DevOps, so I worked on all the tools like Puppet, Chef, Terraform, SourceStack. So in case if you have your own bucket list of learning technologies, you can connect me anytime for any support and reference about these tools. Okay, now I'm just showing you a demo how we are going to write a playbook. Okay, so let me just do that. So I'm going to write a playbook here in my location called etc Ansible. Okay, so let me write for example first.yml, or let's say sample.yml. So name whatever you want to give. So this is my first playbook name. Here I have to start with three hyphens. Then I have to come here, give a space, hyphen, space, and the keyword is host. And here the name of group. So this group name must be matching from the inventory file that is here. Okay, so what I've done in my sample.yml, so I started with three hyphen, then one space, hyphen, another space, key and value. Okay, now variable part is optional, so I can write directly tasks. In the task I have to come under T, give a indentation, hyphen, then name keyword. Let's say want to run date command. So name is just a keyword to identify your task or define your task by some message, and here I'm going to use command module, and what command I want to run, date, simply. So this is your module called command, and command module is used to connect your all web group, and it will run that command. See? Okay, but here I have to define one more thing, that is remote underscore user. So what is the username that you are using on the target machine? So this is target machine user. I think now you can understand why we are using remote user commonly. So why we have created a common user all here. Okay, so it is just for that purpose. Okay, now let me just close that file. So this is my first most sample playbook, and the way I need to run Ansible -playbook and the name of playbook. So it is going, okay, why it is not reachable, because I have to use -k option so that I can supply password 123 Red Hat. See, it is gathering facts, connecting, and the command is ran. Okay, although the output will not be visible here, because for that purpose Ansible has a different strategy. But see, these commands are running here, and I can also use all here so that it can connect to all the groups. And once I am using this all, let me just try with the same. Okay, because I have to make it work for the first time so that I can use cache to connect. See, my all three systems are connected. Now I just can ignore this -k option. Okay, I can run my playbook, or I can run my another node. So let's say I'm gonna add another module like the same, the name, install, or let's say create directory. So what I can do, I can use again command module mkdir, let's say /temp OK Google. So this directory will be created in all the systems. So let me just run it again. So now my first module is something that is want to run date command, then second module is creating directory. Let me show you. In my temp folder on my target machine, this OK Google got created. Here also OK Google got created, and here also in my third target machine OK Google got created. See, so it's very fast, very amazing, right? Although we are not doing it that much, but I just wanted to give an idea about Ansible. So you know what, tomorrow we'll have one more session where I'll be integrating that Ansible and Jenkins and Docker. So Ansible plus Jenkins plus Docker. Fine. Although Ansible itself has a 32 hours long course, so that is an entire different thing, right? It's not that much easy to implement everywhere, but just wanted to just give you some idea. I hope you are understanding it. Okay, so if it's all okay, just say yes in the chat window that yes, you are getting the way we have written this playbook, and playbook is connecting to inventory file, and that's all. Okay, Tej, you can read the warning. It's a warning because Python interpreter is not set in version 3. That's it. Alright, so right, okay, cool. So anyway, so let's connect tomorrow. Meanwhile, you need to send me the report of Pi web group people. You need to send me report the project that I have shared with all of you, with the pi group people, right? So I think you must have gone through with that video, and tomorrow I'll plan for another group, how you have to just go for your own. So this video I have given for the people who are just in fine. So please watch this video and try to implement it every way. Alright, I'm doing it, Rhythm. Okay, I'm doing it that also. Alright, wonderful guys. So now time for saying goodbye for today. A lot of work to do. Yes. Okay, so thank you so much guys. Tomorrow session will be the final for Ansible integration with Docker, and then from Monday onwards I'll be taking Kubernetes directly. Okay, so thanks a lot and have fun. Definitely I'll do. Okay.